Hello, welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg, and this is...
Berserk reference Matt Strange, and this is...
I don't know, reference Muir. I'm
Do you
too
know what?
tired.
Do you know what? Do you know why I'm a Berserk reference mule?
Why?
Because I've got rough guts.
Oh,
God.
that's fucking awful. Get out. That joke was too big, too terrible.
And too anime referenced.
Oh, get out.
Oh, fair cop, you got me back. Have you seen or have you read Berserk, Morg?
No.
It's basically the Game of Thrones of manga. It's been
So
written for
edgy.
like 70 years by a man who releases a chapter every 18 months.
Yeah.
Did
they get off the boat yet?
I don't know. I don't read it anymore. It's so long. Guy is called Guts, tends to have the shit kicked out of him a lot, hence rough guts. Hi, welcome to our anime podcast again. I'll be speaking about...
This is not new.
No. It's actually a new anime season. But anyway, wrestling. Back over, Morg.
Wrestling. So, this might be the first time you listen to our podcast, and as such, you would need to know that we have a tier list, which is how we review the individual matches of Dynamite and the overall rest of the shows, BTE, Elevation, etc. We are still not reviewing Dark fully until something interesting happens on it or it goes back to being old Dark. That is our protest. Mr. Strange will now explain our tier list in some form or another.
Oh, we're going all the way from Japanese cartoons to Korean series, would you believe? I don't know if anybody watches a lot of Netflix, but Korean series are currently in. Korean in. So yeah, I'll be explaining a tier list via Korean TV series. Where you might know the tier list from
Are these North Korean or South Korean TV shows?
North Koreans don't have TV.
Just had to make sure.
Obviously, it's the land of disco and the K1 Panther tank, South Korea. Right, so you work it through letters from lowest to best, obviously. We start with D. D is our lowest ranked match. We don't go any lower than that.
This is a North Korean show.
Yeah, D. I don't actually have one for D because I only watch good things. So a D ranked match is where you've had a bad time. Maybe the wrestling's bad, maybe it's a squash, maybe you just don't give a fuck. We're going to hear about a couple of them in my Dark Elevation review. But yes, D is a North Korean TV show. There you go, Nick.
Thank you.
From there, we rock up to a C. A C is an average rank match. I want a little bit of story. I want characters I know. I want some crisp wrestling. It's just got to be good, an enjoyable experience. Doesn't have to blow my mind. Like Strangers from Hell, a Korean series about a man who moves into a tenement block filled with serial killers who are all mid-carders with character who do a variety of just about exciting enough things. There we go. C rank match. It was good. Probably won't watch it again, but it was good. From there, we rock up to a B, normally referred to as match +1. I want cooler characters. I want better story. I want combat. I want the wrestling to be smooth and crisp. Like the anime series, that it's technically a manhwa series, which is just a Korean manga, I suppose. I'm a weeb. Sweet Home, which is monsters with gimmicks trapped in a tenement block with people who are trying to survive. We've got a lead character on a redemption arc. We've got governmental stories. We've got good, cool action scenes. That's what I want from a B-rank wrestling match. Cool characters, cool story, and some good wrestling. Worth a watch. You'll also learn in this that Koreans don't like tenement blocks, from what I'm aware. If you live in a housing block in Korea, it's haunted and full of monsters. Rocking up from there, we've got A-rank matches. A-rank matches, I want it all. I want a good story. I want to know why they're in the ring. I want to know what they're doing when they leave the ring. I want to see a cool match that does some interesting things. I want to see some different... I want the paradigm lightly broken. And for that, I'm going to go up with Kingdom, the Korean historic period zombie movie. The zombies break paradigm. We've got story. We've got character development. It's got sword fights and just a hint of wushu in the combat. I want to be able to talk like that about a match which is an A-rank match. You know what I mean? Well worth a watch. Also, you don't see zombies for like 45 minutes, which is actually really good in a zombie series, because normally I hate them. Rocking up there from there, we've got an S-rank match. I want the S-rank match to blow my mind. It is normally the match of a pay-per-view, sometimes the match of a month, but it's the thing you send gifts to your mates. We want story in, story out, or the conclusion to a big arc. I want my mind blown with some different paradigm-breaking stuff. I want clever use of surroundings. I want it to be well-directed, basically. Like a series I started watching last night. And this might make you two have a look at it, because it's it's technically a romantic comedy, which is the last thing I ever watched.
Yes, mate.
Hotel Del Luna is a horror comedy with action sequences set in a variety of Korean time periods, and a world of darkness sort of supernatural bleeds over to the real world. And the director is having as much fun as the director of Grand Hotel Budapest. It's colourful, it's fashionable, it's well acted, it's awesome. I don't want to talk like that about an S-rank match. I want to know the reason why those 3 Japanese ninjas are fighting that Mexican man. Every episode, lads. Yeah, no, A-rank match are the things of fucking legend. You tell your mates that. You go out your way to watch them, even if they're on WWE, like the Boneyard match, or Fiend destroys John Cena, which I watched again recently. So that's it. D, shitty. C, good. B, match +1. A, awesome. S, I'll watch a rom-com for it. There we go.
It's quite interesting because I've been having a bit of a Netflix binge recently, so I shall have to check some of these out.
Yeah, mate, well worth a watch. If you want some anime, go for Sweet Home. If you want some zombies, go for Kingdom. If you want just quirky, romantic, with quite horrific ghosts, Hotel Del Luna. And for easy background watching, Strangers from Hell. You can't watch anything from North Korea, as we've covered.
Moving on, time for the news, and I believe, Mr. Strange, you've got a couple of bits for us.
We've got a couple of bits. I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. Muir will correct me. John Silver is injured, and he'll be out for a few weeks. Tore something in his arm or shoulder, from what I understand.
Same thing as Anna Jay, but not as bad.
Oh, Curse Dark Order. But yeah, he's injured, so he's going to be out for a while. Nothing he needs to worry about, no surgery or anything. So as much as I don't want to say it'll be nice to have a bit of a break from Silver, as much as I love him, don't overuse him. All the best to him. It's never good when somebody gets injured. News piece 2 is for speculation purposes, boys. Recently, the Cody Rhodes belt in NJPW has been lost by Kota Ibushi.
Recently, you mean yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yes, mate.
I was gardening. Time has, been a blur. I've been finding yesterday. Will Ospreay beat Kota Ibushi for the new Super Mega NJPW title that I don't know the name of.
Heavyweight. I think it's just called World Heavyweight.
Yeah.
But this does free Ibushi up, and we've seen that NJPW is a little bit more open to the crossovers than I thought they would be. And there's really nobody you want freed up for a crossover universe with Kenny Omega than Kota Ibushi, the world's perfect man.
I'd hope so. Don't get me wrong, but...
Maybe I'm being hopeful.
You are being hopeful. You're on that hopium.
Go on.
As much as I'd love to see it, I'm not seeing it. If you know what I mean.
I'm on hopium. Muir's on copium.
Well, you see, talking about the Forbidden Door, I think, is a very good segue to our social media, because this is a big Forbidden Door. Media. So, we pick a piece of social media every week to talk about. Mr. Strange picks these up for us.
I was slacking, but you brought this one back to my my attention. The Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Broken Ranch podcast, which is shown on the WWE Network, if I recall.
Yes, it is. It is a WWE product.
It's had a bunch of great big interviews with people like The Undertaker and stuff, revealing bits of the industry and, deeper insights into these wrestlers, is having Chris Jericho on it. Which is very not WWE to allow
like a mega star from another company. I know, obviously.
And specifically their competition, in inverted commas.
Yeah, no, it's this one's really interesting to me. I mean, Jericho is kind of getting bigger than wrestling. He's not out of wrestling, but he was a main voice on the Dark Side of the Ring shows. He's been shown to be
shit. Yeah.
Vince has always, especially in recent years as well, always got on with Jericho, and that is a very Vince thing. As much as he's one of those people.
All that matters is how much Vince likes you. You could, if Vince likes you, even if he was heavyweight champion for AEW, he'd still be fucking on some random show if Vince liked him.
That's
all that matters these days.
Wrestling expanded universe, boys. It's getting more and more possible.
That's the interesting thing. And also, allegedly, I'm not 100% sure of this. This was a rumor read on the internet, but apparently Vince also said to Christian, "Good luck. Yeah, take it."
And to Big Show, apparently.
And to Big Show as well.
Yeah,
he's got another 40 to 50 years left on this earth, so maybe he's growing as a person.
Do we think actually that Triple H has actually hacked Vince's phone and is just doing Vince impressions?
Vince is getting ready and getting close to Big Shad so he can sell him the WWE on the way out, just so no one else can inherit it.
I mean, it's not a bad idea for him.
Not a bad call.
But Dad, I thought you'd give us the company. Lol, no.
It was me all along, Steph. It was me all along.
Just him being buried with all the money he makes from it, just as a final fuck you.
Things that wouldn't surprise me in the world of Vince McMahon.
He's got to give it to his mother to provide him with more
souls to power a phylactery.
Yes, right.
The other thing about this, very quickly, just to go back on track to what we were saying, apparently Stone Cold did contact Vince, and because he'd spoken to Joe, said about doing this, and Vince has gone, "Yeah, do it." And again, according to the interview, which I am paraphrasing from, as far as I can remember, Austin kind of went, "I'm gonna call him back and just make sure," which I thought was great.
You would, though. You would.
You'd have to double question anything to
do we?
Sure.
Do you think Vince has forgotten that Jericho doesn't work for them anymore?
I just don't think he cares anymore.
He's forgotten people work for him and forgotten people don't work for him before. He's been like, "Hire that man," and he's like, "He already works here, Vince."
They did once hire the wrong wrestler and got the one-legged guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, this is all sets up to next week when we're reviewing WrestleMania.
You can't get mad about talking about Vince. He's the world's he is the greatest character in fiction. He's just fabulous. Vince is a wonderful yet terrible magical being sent from another universe to destroy wrestling.
That's it.
Or to save it and destroy it in cycles. Right, moving on. Time for our reviews of the week, and we start off, as we do every week, with BTE and Being the Elite. Mr. Muir, over to you.
Right. This starts off with Private Party going on about their vodka, I think it is, that they're trying to sell still. Then it moves on to Matt Hardy comes in, and they discuss being friends with the Butcher, Blade, and Bunny, which then gives us the idea that Matt Hardy can now just go between his different forms as he feels like, no matter what he's doing.
He went to Damascus, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to Damascus to win over Butcher, Blade, and Bunny, and now that he just says that he'll just turn to whatever form he needs to make money off the person.
Just acting.
And then it ends with the Private Party going, "God damn it, he knew we were marks all along," which I thought was a good line.
I like that.
Yeah. Then it had Matt from the Young Bucks with his kids around, which was quite sweet. Just going around, doing photo ops and stuff like that. Then we moved Yeah, I know. Goddamn wholesome bit.
It's
Another
just
wholesome
BTE stuff.
Yeah, then we had the bit where Matt was making all the skateboards with all the other wrestlers, which I thought was another wholesome bit. You had Cage in the back. Oh, sorry.
You know, I do like that, and Cage skateboarding in the background.
Yeah.
Also, like Jack Evans decided to skateboard last week, and he was doing a handstand
Stand on the skateboard.
Yeah. We did, as we were watching it, we interrupted. Well, if one person's going to get it straight away. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoyed poor Cage trying to do a kickflip for the whole video. That made me laugh. And then finally remembering that maybe Darby would be good to help with the skateboards was quite funny, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the guy that comes out with one every time. Yeah. So this was
Still
good.
hasn't connected to Superman by Goldfinger.
I know.
I'm still disappointed.
He had one chance to do that, and that was when he had Tony Hawk's in his video. If they just turned that into a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 video bit, that would have been perfect. But
Still time. There's still time.
Then we move over to Marco and Griff Garrison talking to each other. And they found out that there's a Spanish as announcers table. And because it was a whole thing on WWE for ages that people went through the Spanish as announcers table, the Spanish announcers table in AEW is heavily armed with weapons to protect themselves, which I thought was quite funny.
This. Yeah, I liked this. That's just taking the piss out of generic wrestling tropes.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what BTE is all about for me.
Then we move on to the Dark Order. Unfortunately, Hangman had bought 60 pounds of meat, which is now wasted because Silver didn't win. Butcher and Blade just grabbed dicks, apparently, through the whole matches.
I must have missed that. What?
Yep.
I don't know. That's what happened. Apparently said there was no clips to it happening in the matches, but that's what they were complaining about. Then we moved on to Uno getting a phone call. No, sorry, he had a phone call from the Doc, not Britt Baker, because all of them have evil messages from Britt Baker, apparently, saying that Silver may need a new arm. So then they look over at Five to go steal one of his arms for Silver. Then we had a public swole announcement about wearing your mask. Yeah, wear your masks, apparently. Cool. Then we cut back to the Dark Order.
We're all so sick of hearing about masks.
Yeah.
No one made a noise. And we just all went...
Yeah, we know to wear our masks. It's been a year now. I don't need telling.
To be fair, I think that was kind of the problem, and that was kind of the point, to be fair, but yes.
So we cut back to the Dark Order, and they've got Five held in a position ready to saw off his arm. And Silver comes in with his little crying noises that always make me laugh whenever he's faking being sad. So he then complains that he wouldn't want Five's arm, even if he was going to lose his own arm, because it's so weedy. And then they go to cut off his dick for some reason.
And it's a prawn.
Yeah.
Oh, chopper.
Yep.
Chopper. Classic.
Then we move over to the Good Bros, where
can I just? I want to. Yes, I just want to quickly say the Raptor thought this one was actually funny this week.
They're winning her. That's twice in a row now, Morg.
Yeah.
She's being won over.
Anderson warns you that there's going to be dick jokes coming up before it happens. Gallows is in a bad mood, and you don't notice until it pans out that his hands are tied together, so he obviously can't masturbate anymore. Because obviously Anderson doesn't want to lose Gallows, and the whole thing was he had to not wank for a week, so he just taped his hands together, which I think was quite good.
There's just too much carny power in them. Too much 8-year-old.
I am starting to wonder if they listen to us as well, though.
I'd be surprised if Nick Gallows listened to us.
Jokes are coming. It would, yeah, no. If Gallows turned out, I'd be like, yeah, makes sense.
Then we had, for the final bit, was Brandon busting the balls of the Young Bucks because they don't have any passion anymore, apparently.
I didn't quite get this bit. It didn't seem very like he's spent ages making them better people and not old Bullet Club. I know, and then he was suddenly like, "No, you're not badass anymore."
Why
I was
aren't
like,
you badass and portraying everyone anymore? But I thought that was their character growth, that they weren't like this anymore, that they were better people. I don't know.
I didn't dislike it. It continued the storyline, and I don't have. I
can't say I
with it.
disliked it. It just didn't quite fit.
The continuity was poor for me.
Yeah.
Friend-shaped Brandon, who's been like, be a nicer person.
I think the problem was he's the only one who could be their friend who could do it, unless you did it with Cody, and Cody doesn't appear on BTE anymore.
Back Cody was the fucking best.
He was the best part of BTE. I miss BTE Cody so much.
So, scores.
I think this is a solid C for me. There's a few chuckles in it, but nothing that's going to cause me to howl.
I remember being alright and wholesome. As I don't watch them between then and now. So nothing's really stood out to me. Yeah, fun and wholesome and alright to see.
It's nice to see them like doing skateboarding with the boys, out back sort of thing. It's nice to see that they're not like above hanging out with everyone still. But, wasn't that exciting, to be honest. But yeah, it was fun enough.
Yeah, nice insight into AEW. So, moving on from a C. It's that time, Mr. Strange.
Oh God, it's me onto Dark Elevation.
I'm gonna go have a nap. See you in a minute,
boys.
Dark Elevation.
I'm gonna be less cynical. I'm more positive this week. My opening note is 2 hours 24. Fuck you. So, but it does get better.
I know where we stand.
Yeah, they said it was going to be a TV show, so we actually got some music on the way in. Tony Schiavone actually announced the commentary team and where they were. I was like, oh, thanks for changing that, boys. We know Nick and Gallows listen, apparently. Good work. We open up with a regular Mox promo because Mox has got a match where he's like, yeah, I've been beaten up by people and I'm going to hurt other people to feel good. Mox things. And we roll into our first match of JD Drake and the Hollywood Hunk versus the Best Friends. So a lot of obvious winners in this show. I'm not gonna lie to you, so I won't bother telling you the winners.
Drake didn't pull out the win.
JD Drake did not pull out the win.
God damn it!
But it was a solid match. You had some simple comedy selling from some of them. Obviously, there was some cool bomb moves. Hunk and JD actually do look solid as a team, as much as JD Drake is just man from the pub.
That's his best feature.
This would have been a fine match if I didn't know the main ending. It could have rocked up to a C if I didn't walk out and go, oh, they're getting their numbers up for Wednesday again. And at the end, Kip and Miro obviously came out to shout at them and threaten to beat them up because it's before. More on stuff later. But yeah, it was all right. And Bill Collier came out for a match against Mox. Wasn't the most elevating match. Not going to get. Don't get me wrong. Bill Collier looks like some kind of badly molded together version of Johnny Mundo and Triple H, sort of smooth together. Mox gave. It did. All right. Mox gave him some offense, but I was bored. I even wrote down maybe I missed squash matches because I didn't really want to watch this. I knew who was going to win. It's a man I've never heard of versus main dude. And it went on for ages. And Cody came out and gave a belt to a random kid in the crowd, which I suppose was wholesome. Maybe.
Probably.
Then we rock on to Layla Gray, who had no intro, versus Penelope Ford. Can you guess who won? I
think Layla Gray's got this, boys.
Yeah. She actually seemed all right. Ford was back on form, but we've been critical of her in the past. There were some good sequences and exchanges, if I'm honest, and then it was over. Yeah. Like it could have been, once again, could have been a C.
Did Ford do her Poison Rana?
She did not. She did a little drop.
D.
D. Moving into a more elevating match, even though I don't remember the names of the other three guys. So it is written down as Gun Club versus 3 no-name losers. There was a big man and 2 people who were a tag team called White Chocolate, which was a white dude and a black dude. And I was like, fair play, boys. Otherwise, it's a typical gun club match.
Yeah.
Austin goes fast. Billy has a big man off with the big man. Bit more balanced, bit more fun, but once again, too obvious. 3 guys I've never seen before with no intros, and the gun club come out. Was slightly more elevating, though. They did get some stuff in. The gun club very rarely bury people.
Yeah.
Rosa did a promo where she was doing some good facing and said she was speaking for all Latinos, and Diamante came out. So it looks like, and they did Latina at each other. So we might get, that might be our next feud, Rosa versus Diamante. So that's quite interesting. Quite like Diamante.
Yeah.
One of the more better matches, this is actually on my list of ones to watch, just for Elevation. It was Joey Janela versus some guy. And I wrote down his name halfway through because he was doing well. Taylor Hopkins. He does look like the kind of person you'd meet at LARP, though. Like, I looked at him in his cowboy hat with his beard, and I was
no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
But Joey did what he did best. Joey came out and had an indie match with the guy. They did a bunch of moves on each other, a bunch of good exchanges. He pulled off a Spanish fly, not the best Spanish fly I've seen, but still a
Spanish fly. Fair cop, mate. You know.
Tony Schiavone did call a Death Valley Driver a Canadian Destroyer, which threw me a bit. But this match had big indie power and was an Elevation. So good for that one. It's the perfect show for Joey Janela.
Yes, it is.
H2 had a promo, just being bell ends. Angelico was just sort of fucking dancing in the background with his 72 abs out. Yeah, it was all right. Alex Gracia fought Thunder Rosa. They're not very good together. The pace was off. There were a couple
Alex
of
Gracia
botches.
is not very good.
Yeah, that was a thing. Then Hirsch fought Vipress. I've been waiting for Vipress to come back. I think she's got a good look for the alternative and gothic crowd. Let's hand over an opinion on Vipress to our resident goth.
From what I can remember, it's all right.
Yeah, there we go. That was a good story as well. Vipress obviously had no entrance, so we knew what was going on. Match felt a bit clumsy. Did have some limb work and stuff, but I don't think Vipress knows how to wrestle Hirsch because she's got a very grabby, rolly style, and then it just ended. So we can pretty much skip that one. And I love Hirsch. I think she's fucking great.
Yeah.
Danny Limelight fought Kaz. Good wrestling, even though, we knew Kaz was winning. This was before he's taken on Christian.
Yeah.
Some good exchanges between the two of them. Not mind-blowing, but it was solid. Limelight got a good showing, but he doesn't exactly need elevation. It wasn't exactly him versus Phoenix match. With a little bit of story, and such, like, could have been a C. At the end, Cage came out to clap at Kaz. Obviously, more on that later. Fuego del Sol gets a full entrance, including music, to take on Ethan Page. Ethan Page is getting over his... I really like where he can go as a mid-card Healy man. He's got some comedy selling on him. He doesn't quite go full MJF, but he looks confused, stunned, angry. In fact, both of them sold for each other quite ludicrously. Where we just saw the heel head pull up on the pin count so he can do some more. And Page did a backbreaker on the turnbuckle. Like he was on the top turnbuckle, picked Fuego up and just dropped and slammed his back onto the turnbuckle. I was like, that's fucking awesome. I've also noticed Page's moveset is like 9 to 10 different backbreakers, and then he throws you. Solid enough. Could have been a C. I actually enjoyed this match. I think I've got hope for Page, though. Maybe that's drawing me in.
Goddamn hopium.
Oh, no. Then Shida and Conti came out for no entrance, against no entrances, Allure and Fisher-Price. The opponents got some offense in the 2-minute match.
Why? Why did we need this?
This was not elevated because they had a tag team match.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Awfully skippable. Jack Evans took on Jungle Boy. Good flippy rolly exchanges, what you'd expect. Evans loves his fucking big sells. This could have been a good C, could have even been a low B, just with some story in it. And if I didn't know Jungle Boy was winning, obviously, an enjoyable watch. Actually a good match if you enjoy flippy rolly people.
I can imagine that is a great match to watch.
Yeah. Damian Priest and somebody called Fry, I don't have his full name, versus QT, Marshall, and Lee Johnson. Obviously, we've got more on this later. The other guys had no entrance, and then it was over. Adam Priest looks pretty good, though.
Do we really need 2.5 hours of wrestling where we can't even give wrestlers an entrance?
2 hours, 25, did I say? 24.
Yeah.
Fuck. Now, this is the match I will say go out of your way to watch. I fucking love this match, and I gave it an honest B rank.
Holy shit.
Island King versus Rio. As in Rio, not Riho.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fucking great. Rio comes in, picks up Bryce and holds him for a bit. Both of them were having fun in the ring. Rio really brought out Kylan's personality. She was like doing shocked over the top facial expressions and shouted things back. It was face on face and the wrestling was great. It was very Choco Pro TJPW, don't get me wrong. But if you enjoy that start, yeah. My actual, just before my final note, it just says this match elevated my spirits. We had chopper, we had posing, we had moves, we had
his hope and light restored.
Seriously, lads, go out your way and watch this match. It was really good.
Amazing.
Then the Dark Order 15 fought D3 and Morales for a whole 4 minutes.
Oh.
And 10 won with a full Nelson submission, which I've never seen before, and it makes sense. And the hold would hurt because it pulls across your ribs. But if you've ever watched a man just hold somebody in the full Nelson's position and just sort of shake them a bit, looks a bit weird. Not quite down with it.
Bobby Lashley's current finisher, doesn't he put in a full Nelson these days?
How am I meant to know?
I think he still uses the dominant. I don't know.
I'll have to check.
Chris Masters is the last one I actually remember, and Hercules used to be the full Nelson.
Yeah.
Back in day.
Back in day. But I'm trying to
more
think
on that later.
Who actually uses the fucking full Nelson?
Doesn't matter.
Days. Yeah.
But we're on to our last few matches. Then Ethan Page promo, where he's going for the whole people are overlooked thing, which we're used to from when wrestlers first arrive in AEW. Bit of solid mid-card healing. And then he was like, I've got to go watch a match. And he went off. More on this very shortly. Bear Country had a promo, and I'm really annoyed with what they chose to do. They did their normal new tag team thing where people talk about their past and have heartfelt things of like, I'm from here and we've had to struggle to get up and I want to be famous. There was a bit of a... they've done it with everybody, and there's no kayfabe in it. It did have a heat
from the swamps or from the fucking Appalachian Hills,
It did have a heely end where they were like, we're not down with hugging and shaking hands and stuff after matches. But yeah, it let me down a bit.
Yeah.
On the broad side, they were in a match next. It was Private Party versus Bear Country.
Okay.
Yeah, and boy, did Private Party make Bear Country look like beasts.
Amazing.
It started with like a collar and elbow with Isaiah Cassidy and Boulder, the smaller one, and he just pretty much went and threw him to the floor. And it happened all the time. Like they'd hit them and bounce off, or they'd just throw them. And obviously then they get on some mini boss fighting, doing some proper speed moves and such like. And Bear Country are so strong. The bigger one, Bear Bronson, at one point, we've seen him do the fall away slam holding two people before. Before he did it, he already had a Isaiah on his back, and Quen springboarded at him, and he caught him before doing it. Obvious. Then, a little bit of story built up, because Matt Hardy was going to try to cheat, Marco ran out and tripped over Matt Hardy. But they didn't see that but Bear Country didn't see that he was helping, so they just distracted Bear Country, who obviously then lose to I think it was a roll-up or something like that. They lost to a dirty win, basically, tights holding and stuff. But they blamed Marco, then Jurassic Express came out, so I'm up for Jurassic Express versus Bear Country, if I'm honest. Yeah, it doesn't have to be the biggest story, but I've got enough reason for them to come into the league.
Exactly.
And then we finish with Mike Saladal versus Scorpio Sky. He unrolled the yoga mat and lay on it, and Tony Schiavone said it was a yoga mat. So I was like, hooray! Obviously, this was fucking solid wrestling. Saladal knows what he's doing and does a bunch of good stuff. Scorpio, the sex-shaped man, always gives me match +1, and I love him. His heel side was, you could read it in the ring. Obviously, he won. held out the submission at the end, and he was locking it in. Matt Sydal runs out to break him off his brother, and then Ethan Page ran out and smacked him as well. Obviously teasing what we see later on Dynamite. But I think I could like this pairing, and I will say this again later, yeah. So overall, it was better than the last couple of weeks. I enjoyed a bunch of the matches. If I was going to say to watch anything, I'd probably watch Sky Sydal if you just want some good wrestling. Air Country versus Private Party for just some fucking mini-boss, bit of shenanigans, fun, boss boys. Janela versus Hopkins if you want to see an elevation, and watch Rio versus King. Go out of your way to watch it. It was wonderful.
Oh, good. And
I'd say Mike Sydal, Bear Country, and Hopkins were actually elevated. That is much better than the last ones.
That's good to hear.
Kylan King as well, by the sounds of things.
I don't know. I suppose I've always kind of been.
You've always liked her, but she's coming. She's definitely moving up.
Yeah. She's getting ripped too. She's like how pale she is. She's like a giant. She's like a female Sheamus. Is it Sheamus, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Ginger man, ginger albino.
Yes.
Albino.
He's just very. Yeah, he's just not. He's just very pale.
He's albino.
Right, let's move on. So Dark. It's all right.
Go on. Oh, that was a mid-tier, all right.
Yeah, it was okay. Nothing really so. The only real standout that I'm going to bring up was the brilliant plot work and story work between Cage and Ricky Starks in their match. Yeah, there was some actual story that we learn more of later in Dynamite.
Against Jobbers?
Yeah, against Jobbers.
I'll look it up. Those two have got brilliant body language. We'll discuss this later.
But yeah. So, moving on. Time for Dynamite. Main show of the week. Open up JR Excalibur Shivodi on commentary, and we open with Christian Cage versus Kaz. Christian wins with the kill switch. Thoughts and scores from you, gentlemen?
I fucking love this match. Okay, I didn't fucking love it. I love this match. It's everything I want. Good classic wrestling. I love the fact that Christian looked weaker in the opening collar and elbow ties up. Yeah, he looked. Yeah, he was a shade behind him, and my notes are actually quite short because I was just enjoying
this match. Yeah, it was great.
We've also got my new absolute favorite move in wrestling. When Kaz had Cage on the turnbuckle, I was like, "Oh, what's he gonna do? He's gonna jump up and superplex him? Is he going to fucking hurricane him? What top rope move are we going to get to?" And he just pushed him off to the outside. And I was like, why has nobody ever done this Chad high IQ move before? That great pacing. And Kaz, for the majority of the match, seemed to have the edge. He was always
definitely.
We had great strikes and slams, and they both looked worn and tired towards the end. I'll always pop for Kaz's springboard leg drop. It's wonderful. And Cage's sort of take advantage at the end for that last minute win, I thought was really good. I really enjoyed this match, and I argue this is what a C rank match should be. I should be this entertained with this solid wrestling.
Yeah,
but it's a for me it was a high B. Yeah. They told a fucking story in that ring, and it was great.
For 1 week's build, this was fucking fantastic. I loved the nice, slow, ground and pound match. There was very few big moves in this match, which made it feel more, elevated when one of them actually hit a big move, The only issue I have with this match is I didn't feel like Christian was outworking Phoenix during this match. And he says he's outworking everyone.
When did Phoenix come in?
He says he's outworking everyone with his t-shirt, and Phoenix is on that roster, and he ain't outworking Phoenix, is he, boys?
I think I think you have to take it with what it's meant. It's the workhorse.
No, I'm not.
I'm a Phoenix fanboy, and I'll be fucked if anybody's getting over my flippy luchador with terrible tattoos.
No, this was great, though. I gave this a B to high B. I really enjoyed it. It felt like a solid opener, and it made Kaz look great as well, even though he lost. Yeah, it did. So what could you want?
Are we giving it a high B, or are we just giving it a B? Because, A bit same. It's interesting that we're going to start Dynamite with just a classic wrestling match, and we're going to end our reviews today with a classic wrestling match. I'm not saying I'm not saying they're on par, but that is the thing. This was a class wrestling match. You've covered nearly everything in it. This was two guys. I loved the storytelling. I loved Christian playing the beaten down veteran all the way through, but he just couldn't put him away. And then he couldn't put Kaz couldn't put him away, and then he couldn't put Kaz away until right at the end he managed to pull it off. I love the dropping out of the kill switch. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was solid and a really good opener to this
Just
Dynamite.
Shows you don't need that many big moves.
Yeah.
Also, it shows you don't have to bring your new stars in and give them a match where they annihilate or beat somebody so one-sided. He came out and he had a real match. He didn't come out and beat 82 no-name people. He didn't come out and squash a mid-carder. He had a classic with his mate, and it was wonderful.
And it shows you his power rating instantly. He's a bit rusty, but he is very powerful. You know?
Yes. So moving on from there, Darby and Sting promo, thoughts and scores?
I didn't like the music. I didn't think it fitted. I think I prefer Silent Darby and the more Guinness adverts. It was fine. Like, I can't dislike it. It's fine Darbying, arguably a C. But I don't know. I just don't think he's that good on the mic. And I didn't like the music, which is, the most important thing to me, apparently.
It was solid. Like, the cinematography was good. It's that standard indie.
He doesn't get points for that anymore. He's always got good cinematography.
Okay, well then we can't give points to anybody for doing something they've done before.
This is true. This means we can no longer give Kingston points for doing good promos.
Like, it's solid. I don't think it was, I'm still going to agree with you that it's not the best I've seen him do, but it's all right. It's a solid C from me.
I liked bringing back the mask. I liked the fact it was Sting wearing the Matt Hardy mask, I think. I don't think it was Darby.
I didn't notice.
I did not notice either.
Yeah, we don't... We
go back and check.
We weren't sure, but we don't think... but part of the idea for me is that you have Darby do these amazing videos and you have Sting talk. I thought that was kind of the point of sticking them together.
You've got to use Sting for something.
but I thought that was kind of the point of sticking them together is Sting's supposed to be. So moving on from a fairly good promo, Jade Cargill promo.
She had the promo again. It was the promo.
She's getting better. She did sound a little bit more like Money this time. She doesn't sound quite so awkward on the mic. It was all right. If she wasn't so high tier, I'd say it was a fine mid-carder promo.
Yeah.
Give her some cocaine. Just let her go.
I didn't like this promo, and I'm not sold on Jade Cargill at all in the slightest. And I agree with the Raptor, who pointed out the fact that it is horrible that Red Velvet has been one of the best on the roster, and she avoided being fed to Brandy, and instead is just going to get fed to Jade Cargill.
She'll win overall.
Isn't
in
very
the
good.
Got a good finisher, looks good. Give her time. You've got to take into account that Jade Cargill is actually from Jacksonville, and whilst they're stuck there, they're trying to get that money, local props. Velvet will win overall. Cody is a lover of the classic bullshit. He is, though.
Oh, yeah,
mate. Is Dusty's son very much not as much as fucking Dustin is, but we'll be on to that in a few minutes.
Yes, mate.
I'm not that hyped for what she's doing currently, but I think she's got great potential. And
we all love Red Velvet. She's going to be fine.
Oh yeah, Velvet's fucking dope.
Moving on now. The match itself, I have unranked. I couldn't give it a D because I think this match was a segment. So Cody Rhodes versus QT with Arn Anderson as the ref. It's a no contest after QT blindsides Arn. Then Comarato, Solo, and Anthony Ogogo jump the rest of the Nightmare family. Thoughts and scores as the thing overall. And by the way, yes, you boys called it.
Yeah, didn't I? I don't think. I imagine you two think I'm going to be quite negative about this, but I liked it. Just because something's obvious doesn't mean it's
You
bad.
shouldn't do it, yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact QT had no entrance and Cody
It was
had his
actually
full
done properly, yeah.
Yeah, we had I like the wrestling and how it just showed the Cody's just better. There was actually storytelling in that ring.
Mm-hmm.
And the patronizing, like helping him up. We had some
Not
limb
doing
work.
his proper moves because he didn't want to hurt him, sort of thing. You know, didn't do crossroads.
It's very, very easy for Cody to just appear like the face, but if you're actually watching that match, he's being an asshole.
Yes.
The arm punch did seem a bit out of nowhere, but then obviously it went into the rise up. I love Comoroto. I've said this several times. Anthony Ogogo, he's not very good on the mic, but maybe he'll be good in the ring. And he does that boxer thing. And Aaron Solo used to be Starks' tag team partner. So, the only thing which really made me laugh in this, is Dustin was already bleeding. Well, they were like, we're going to put him into the chair of the ramp. And I was like, oh, Dustin's bleeding. Obviously he is, of course.
That's what we said. Dustin's got busted open and the Raptor just turned around, yeah, it's Dustin.
Yeah, and not even for the part where they were slamming him into the fucking steps either. I did like how Nick Comoroto just went, steps. God, he's great. I gave this a B. Like, just because something is obvious and possibly a little bit contrived doesn't mean it can't be done well. And I think they did that pretty well.
I think this should have been on one show and one show only, because I think it should have been on Elevation, because it actually elevated some of the new guys to give them actual roles. But, you know, yeah, it was solid. Like, the match wasn't great. Had some good storytelling in it, though. And it is what it is. It is a good way to get over these guys as a new heel stable. I think that's perfect. It's a bit weird that Red Velvet could just run in and scare them all off, but, you know, here we are.
Can't exactly have Nick Comoroto throw into space, can you?
I mean,
we've said this before, the women are so powerful, and it actually comes down to it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All of our examples of women against men, the women have been more powerful than the men in AEW.
I do dislike that Red Velvet is just replacement fucking Brandy, though. I really do dislike it, as much as, you know, she'll be fine.
You need to do something else with her. Yeah, I'm with you.
It just looks a bit weird, like she has just got Brandy's face like stapled onto her. This is Brandy at the moment, you know.
I think it's just unfortunate. They you know, they didn't expect Brandy to get pregnant specifically. Obviously, they probably thought it was going to happen, and she's just having to fill the role where she was supposed to be mentored by Brandy. And I think was probably going to be setting up for Brandy to turn heel again, I'm assuming, originally. Well, I imagine that was what was originally going to happen, and then put Jade over. Put Red Velvet over, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, moving on. Scores, Mr. Muir.
I gave it a C. I'm happy with it, and it's what I expect from like the story from what it should have been. I think it's high C. It was good.
Low B for me as an overall, which I think puts it into the B rank. I liked what it was. It wasn't. Yeah, it like you say, it's high C, low B, and I think I'm going to edge towards the B because I liked it and it gave me something new. And even though I was
the first thing we've liked about the Nightmare People
in a long time.
Oh God!
Yeah. So it deserves a B just from that, to be fair.
Right. Then another promo, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky promo. Thoughts? Deserve a score?
I liked it. It gave me hope. I don't think it's better than a C, and I don't know if we should score it on the overall scales, but yeah, I think it was cool. It made me think of the song Mope by the Bloodhound Gang, which always brings me joy. I love a bit of double sentence, passed backwards and forwards, with a bit of cutting and editing. Too arrogant. I don't know if Ethan Page is handsome. Let's go with yes.
Why not?
Two handsome, heely people in the upper mid card. Cool.
I think they're better than everyone else. Perfect. Yeah. Whatever. Perfect. It's good.
Then we had Red Velvet interview and gets jumped by Cargill. I don't have a score or anything for this.
She just got bodied instantly. She just turns up and then just gets destroyed.
Didn't even write this down.
The Raptor thought this could be a little bit confusing because all of a sudden, even though you've already had the Jade Cargill bit, they were trying to tell the other story, the Nightmare People story. So I thought it was a little bit
jumpy.
Yeah, it just sort of came to my. Moving on from there, Mox promo.
Mox, nice, angry Mox.
Really needs a Snickers.
He's being a diva.
Yeah.
It's a Mox promo.
It was good.
Apparently, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was solid.
That means it gets a B.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, we had Mox versus Cesaro Bononi with the Pretty People, which is what I'm calling them until they give me another name. Mox wins with the Bulldog Choke. Thoughts and scores?
Cesaro Bononi is coming at a higher power tier than I was expecting him to.
I would get awakened by Deg.
Limb work versus Giant, what you come to expect. We had JD Drake there to obviously pop the ratings by another point.
Good lad.
And Bononi had to be defeated with the sleeper that's only used for high tier people. So I gave it a mid tier Morg soundbite. All right.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. I didn't hate it. Caesar looked big. Obviously, he's the power member of their fucking staple. Yeah, it was all right. See, I suppose.
Anything to add, Mr. Muir?
I enjoyed the selling and the work of it. I liked the ending that they had to use the Bulldog Choke to take him out. Yeah, it was good. I give it a B for a squash, but it's a C, obviously.
Yes. Funnily enough, I was about to say the same thing. This is how you do squash matches. You do them against baby faces, so they're not actually squash matches, because babyface squash matches are shit. And Mox knows how to do a babyface squash match. He knows how to be the winner and put the other guy over, but come out on top of the new guy.
Just make it so you have a super special finisher that you only bring out, regularly.
And he made Cesaro Bononi look good.
Didn't he? Bononi looked like a fucking monster. I was like, how powerful is... I mean, the man looks powerful, don't get me wrong. I also have maximum for respect for anybody who's a mediocre-looking man in a stable that's described as being beautiful people.
Yes.
It's wonderful. I love that.
The other thing is, Mox beat somebody when he won.
Yeah.
He beat someone. Team Taz promo. Thoughts and scores?
I fucking love the new Team Taz sitcom. I think it's great. I'd love to give it a B just through the body language, but I think it's a C. But yes. Ricky Starks' smug little face on the sofa, and Kate, wonderful.
And Taz completely in denial.
Yes, mate.
I would also like to point out Wife Beater Hook is his best look yet.
Mate, look at his shoulders. That boy is like an action figure. He is an average 16-year-old Japanese school kid. He is terrifying.
C?
Yeah, C. More of this. I love the fact they can't do it. Who are we going to have Team Taz feud with? Don't give them a feud. Just leave them. Look at them go. They're wonderful.
Leave them alone. Now, this is an interesting one.
Pimple.
So I've got it written down as Pimple promo. This is an interesting one because I really fucking loved this. I really enjoyed it, but I'm also tempted to give it a D.
What?
Okay.
Because it was too soon. I will explain. I will let you guys talk first, and then I will explain my reasoning. I'm not going to give it a D, but I will explain.
I'll give it an A.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I fucking love this, and I'm not giving it a D, but I will explain my reasoning. What did you guys think? Pimple promo or Pinnacle promo, Inner Circle return.
In the bathroom.
What did you guys think? And scores.
I like how JK is the same power level as all the rest of the Inner Circle because he's needed to guard one door while the rest of them guard the other.
But it makes perfect sense for his character.
Oh yeah, completely.
Championships. Them being in the bathroom with the bathroom door closed was brilliant. It went full dub-C-dub, and it was a great return. I love behind-the-scenes fights. I remember they used to be all over 90s and early 2000s.
It was the Attitude Era.
When you played computer games, when you played the various different SmackDown games and stuff, the first thing you tried to do was take people out the back to go around the kitchen and the locker rooms. And that's what they did. We had some great fucking spots. MJF doing his comedy wrestler heel thing. The fridge and the bubbly spot at the end was great. I love the fact that apparently you get to decide who owns locker rooms by combat in AEW as well. Because once they were defeated, the Inner Circle put their sign on the door.
It's theirs now.
I loved it. It
Everything's
was
a trial
wonderful.
by combat.
To be fair, it was theirs before.
Yeah. I'd also like to point out when Sean Spears was taken out and was lying in the doorway, you can see an empty pack of sparklers next to him while he was down on the floor, which made me laugh.
Wonderful. Oh, they can't let it go. Brilliant.
Scores?
Hey.
Yeah. So I loved this. This was brilliant. This is how you do a return. I loved the opening the door. MJF finally got some comeuppance, made the Raptor happy, and got his. And considering his character, you imagine he's the guy who put the nerds' heads down, which I know is a big thing in America, down the toilet and flushed it. Gave them, I think it's called a whirly, and that's it. That happening to MJF was brilliant. Hager just being the MMA badass. And just remembering the fact that, yeah, Hager's a fighter. You know, they're all wrestlers. He's a fighter, which I know we hate. But at the same time, if you do it right, that's how you do it right for me. This was really good. My only problem with it was too soon. The Pinnacle haven't had enough matches, and they're supposed to be the Pinnacle, and they just got completely owned by the Inner Circle, which is a good quid pro quo. I think I would have liked another couple of weeks.
Depends
and the Pinnacle
what happens next week.
This
if
is
the Pinnacle
true.
come back, you know, with something
If
else,
we're just going to have a war over this locker room, that would be the best thing ever.
If they've like set traps in the room next time or something like that, you know, and I expand it further, then I think it'll be fine. But if it's just over now, then it's bollocks. Yeah, you're right.
I think the return was just too quick before the Pinnacle happened to do. I think they need another couple of matches to show that they're the Pinnacle. But yeah, overall, yes, it's an A. I do agree with you, but you understand my logic. I just think it was.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it another couple of weeks and I could have popped even more. So then
pacing in AEW.
Yeah, normally it's not. Young Bucks promo. Don Callis interrupts. Thoughts?
Good callousing. I liked Matt's idea, and with the angry breathing. The only problem is the angry. I don't know if the promo was too long or if he got too into that deep breathing. But I was a bit like Ned Flanders with Homer in church. Breathe through your damned mouth.
Wow. Yes, mate.
I know what he was going for, and I like the Don Callis. Brilliant. I'm enjoying his manipulative shenanigans.
It's just a twat. Yeah, I love it.
There's only so much pervy phone sniffing I can.
You can put up with. Yeah.
Otherwise, solid. The story's continuing. You know, we're all interested to see where this goes. He says, knowing it's answered very shortly.
So then Don Callis joins commentary, and we have Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid with Alex promo. Any thoughts?
Yeah, standard stuff. I love Alex with them.
Yeah.
Just like to raise that Penta was wearing the Sexy Girl Penta shirt, which always makes me laugh when he just has the Sexy Girl wearing all his stuff. I always love that shirt.
He's so amazing.
Yeah.
I am trippy.
Loving Alex as their translator.
Oh, yeah. It's
specifically Penta's translator. So then Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid versus the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega. Kenny wins with the One-Winged Angel. We'll do the match. Well, I'm just going to have a big because it wasn't big. Mox then comes out with the Bucks.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think of the match, and what scores did you give it?
This match goes on a bit of a roller coaster for me. It goes a bit down then up. We get a comedy kickstart that amused me, and then we have our entire routine of wobbly dances for everybody.
Yeah.
It's nice that they've imported.
When it happened, I turned to the Raptor and went, "Strange is going to hate this."
Well, yeah, it's just so much wobbly.
I love the fact they've imported the Laredo Kid's power level from AAA, so he's up there with them, and we don't need that established or anything.
No.
I love Gallows' strikes. I think he's one of the best actual like punches, set of brawlers they've got. And then Laredo Kid ate shit for fucking ages. Just went on, and I got a bit bored. Picks up a bit more. We got the triple splash with Gallows in the middle, which was fun. Yeah. We got the absolutely phenomenal rotating hot tag from the Luchadors. They're really good. And it really started picking up post that Laredo Kid. The Magic Killer stop into the rotating wrestling spots, and they're always good at the rotating wrestling spots. It's something that AEW does. Kenny's catch of the Laredo Kid into the powerbomb was phenomenal.
Mate. Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing in the match, which is my final proper note of it, which is when Omega was stood near the ropes and Phoenix appeared off screen, but he was running the ropes and just kicked him in the head. Made me piss.
Yeah.
The match sort of went from a low C to a high B for me. So I think I'm going to need your boys' interpretations to win me over in one direction or the other.
Think this was better than the Bucks match we had last week, because I think it was mellowed out a bit by having Gallows and Anderson and Kenny to do a bit more ground and pound and slow it down a bit instead of it just being a spot fest. I'm going to
say Anderson was great in this match. I just very rarely made notes on him because he just does everything really well.
Oh yeah, he's a fantastic wrestler. You know, Gallows is the weaker wrestler in their team by far. As much as I love him, he's not the best. Let's be honest here. But yeah, this was solid. I gave this a B, and like a solid B, and I enjoyed this. And I thought it was good storytelling into what we wanted coming out of this. But
so I went with one of your two scores, Mr. Strange.
Oh,
I went with the high B. I really enjoyed this. I didn't have a problem with the Laredo Kid beatdown. I thought that's great, classic babyface. Because you've got, even though the Lucha Bros, etc., and Laredo Kid are in the more heelish, they were the protagonists in this because they have such good heels with the others. The other three are absolute arseholes. So I didn't care. I didn't mind about that. You were building up sympathy. You were building up towards a hot tag, and keeping Penta or Fenix out of the ring for me annoys me. So that when they get into the ring, finally, I pop more for it. I really enjoyed this. My only criticism of this match was Don Callis fucked up one piece of commentary for me. I think it was JR compared Kenny to Ric Flair. Don Callis then went on to say other things in that vein, but at no point did he actually say, yes, he is the modern day Ric Flair, which when you're talking about Ric Flair, and Kenny probably is our modern day Ric Flair, the amount of other companies that want to put their belt on him currently, which is the classic Ric Flair thing because he's trusted and he's that good. Callis missed a chance to give Kenny a rub that it's a very minor thing. But it was just, it just like, oh, you just missed a chance and you're so good on commentary. You missed what I just saw as an absolute perfect chance. Fairly irrelevant to the match. The match itself was solid and I really enjoyed it.
You've been won over to heels. Good lads. It is time. Embrace the carny. I'll give it a B then, boys.
So then we had Britt Baker interview. Any thoughts?
Solid Britting.
Yeah.
I laughed about elevating being said in it.
Yes.
Otherwise, solid Britting. He says I was actually pretty positive about elevation this week, so maybe she will elevate some people.
Lies.
Then following on from that, Matt Hardy promo.
Oh God, I don't even have notes on this.
Me either. What did he say?
I think it was just very short promo, just putting over Bunny.
Oh, it was Bunny. Should have been in that tournament. Blah blah.
Yeah. Fair. Okay, sorry.
And then, remember Bunny.
Then following on from that, Nyla Rose and Bunny with Vicky Guerrero and the Hardy family versus Shida and Ty Conti with the Dark Order. Bunny wins after hitting Ty with the kendo stick. Thoughts and scores for the match?
Don't have a lot of notes on this one because I found it very crowded and a little bit clusterfucky, especially at the start. It did pick up with Ty versus Bunny. They seem to do pretty well together, but there was just so much going on in this match. We did get an awesome knee off Conti from Shida, which was actually awesome as opposed to the chair. But we did get an ultra wobbly dance. And
God, I've got it in my notes. It was fucking awful.
this match was solid, if all over the place. So I'm giving it a C. Nothing was technically bad,
No.
but I don't really feel like anybody massively got over or anything in this match. It just sort of happened, and I was like, cool.
It was
Oh,
definitely
boys.
It was definitely the generic women's tag match with no real story that they used to have, 6 months ago when they were doing worse with the division. Yeah, I didn't enjoy this. It was quite nice that Bunny got the pin, try and put her back with some sort of power level, but I think they could have given this spot to basically most of their other female rosters, and I think we would have had a better match out of it, even though I liked the people in this match. I don't think it was very good.
I would have preferred a Bunny 1v1 match against somebody to bring her back.
Mm-hmm.
I
Or
think
Morg.
you're protecting from a bit of ring rust there just as much as anything else. I actually disagree with you on the story. I thought this actually did have story going in, and it had story in all directions. You've got Nyla and Shida, who've had this ongoing feud for ages. Ty is obviously sitting in for Anna Jay now with the Dark Order. And so you had the Dark Order Matt Hardy side. You had the beatdown from it from last week. It's a C. I gave it a high C because I think possibly because it had Shida in it, and Shida and Ty, to be fair.
Mark.
Yeah, I have a bit of a mark for them.
If we're
It was a C.
things on eyes and how much they please my eyes, I'm going to start editing these matches.
But yeah, no, it's a C. I think I possibly oversold it because it had people that I liked in it. But yeah, it was still a C. But I enjoyed it. It was passable. It was a match, but it was very clusterfucky. Yes.
Oh, well, we'll see where it goes. See what we get out of this. As long as
Yeah.
we're not crossing too many storylines.
It
Because
does
don't forget,
mean-
Nyla's also with Jade Cargill and with...
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
there's so many stories.
To be honest, I'm quite happy. This needs to move. I think the other thing I think about this, I think it was a setup for the Ty Bunny one-on-one.
Do you know what
which
we
will
could do?
Cross.
You know, we could, in fact, have 2 women's matches with each one of them
No.
building to a separate feud.
No, you can't
why
have-
would
can't
we
have-
try and fit 2 female stories in one fucking show?
No,
That's
we'll have Jade Cargill do a promo for that and just jump Red Velvet. That's all you're getting for that, right?
No more Jade Cargill promos, please. I've been a good boy this year.
Jurassic Express promo. Any thoughts?
Sponsorship. I was solid enough. Oh god, a sponsorship match. My notes in order. What's the match theme again? What was it? Is it some kind of it's a King Kong Godzilla match. Is that what it is?
Oh god,
Yes.
is that what it was? Was it a sponsorship thing?
Yeah, it's a Yeah, it's like their Cracker Barrel thing and the Rick and Morty match and so things that I hoped we'd gotten over.
You'd
But
hope
here
they
it
got
is.
past, yeah.
Woo! Spicy.
Woo!
Creamy. Yeah, so solid enough. I just don't give a fuck. Sponsorship matches, I don't know, cost a little bit of soul for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it was a sponsorship as such, or whether it was just them trying to be hip with something that's happening currently.
Kong versus Godzilla. It's not him.
Yeah.
Violence brand.
I didn't score it.
No.
I give
If
it
you're...
a D, but yeah.
I don't rank sponsorships.
And that's it. We don't need to talk about anything else, do we? Oh, the deathly silence.
How dare you?
Chuck and Orange Cassidy versus Kip and Miro in the Arcade Anarchy.
The indie shitters domination.
Oh, yes. Chuck pins Kip after power slamming Kip through the stage. During the middle of this, we had 2 returns. Chris Statlander returns, which was awesome.
3 returns. Thank you.
Well,
2?
yes.
You undersell soon.
And then a car drove down, and the Raptors going, "Oh, is Sue going to get involved?" And I'm going, maybe our timing was wrong, and it was, because not only did Sue drive down, Trent leapt out of the car and joined in. What did you guys think of the match? What scores did you give it?
I actually called that Trent and Sue were coming as soon as they were near
Yeah,
the ramp.
definitely.
I was like before even seeing the car. Right, I believe it or not, I do have criticisms for this match, but we'll get to that. We open up with the best friends coming out to a Pixies track, which obviously pleases my weird punk alt music ska kid who's never escaped the 90s.
Can I jump
fine,
in quickly? This is
Yeah.
the point that the Raptor went. There was an alien in that.
But they've always
New
had
best-
an alien in their start.
Have they? We've never noticed
Yeah.
it.
They've
We've never
always had
noticed
an
it.
alien in their start since they've been friends with Statlander.
No, it's from before that because Chuck
it is, isn't
Chuck
it?
had a Twitter exchange with Cody when he was like, "When are we going to do our theme tune, man?" And he was like, "Oh, come in for this day." He's like, "Can we have ghosts and aliens in it?" That's from like the
Right.
start of AEW.
You are right, I'm wrong.
I am the Best Friends fan.
Yeah.
Anyway, we
But the alien was very
start off-
noticeable.
Yes. We start with a solid brawl off. Obviously, you've got to, and it's what a lot of these boys are best at. And our first stupid thing is Kip through the mole face on the whack-a-mole. Hilarious. Miro is powerful enough to set up a chair in the corner of a ring and put his opponent into it.
What kind of power level is this? Is this Hogan at Mania power level?
It is. And Miro obviously just renders a beast throughout this.
He's great during this.
Kip was dead for the majority of the match, which is my one criticism.
Yes, mate.
I enjoyed the just bury Miro in shit pin. That was brilliant. And we did get the great Kip flying back in for his comeback. And when he drop kicked, when Orange Cassidy came out of the wall, he drop kicked him back through it, shouting, "Get back in there," made me laugh. We had a teddy bear full of Lego. That's a rare.
That made me laugh.
Yeah.
That was stupid, smarky crap, which I enjoyed.
And the OC spinning DDT and beach break on the Lego made me go, ooh.
Beach break on Lego does not sound fun to take. I'm not going to lie to you, boys.
I'm going to say this is one of the few matches where people actually realised they were in a no DQ match. You know, Penelope pulled out
bringing all their mates?
Yes, mate. No,
as you would.
Yeah. But when Ford pulled out Ref Aubrey, I was just like, and what? It's
a no DQ. Fuck you.
I've just got Statlander written in capital letters from when she came out of the machine.
She came out of the alien incubation chamber or whatever they called it on commentary.
I've watched the slow motion of that glass flying out in a sheet into Penelope's face, and it does fly at like a perfect 90-degree angle. It doesn't go anywhere. It hits her flat. And she didn't botch the return finish. She pulled off the Big Bang attack. Big Bang, whatever it is. Is it Big Bang attack? Anyway, a finisher through the table.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Ooh, should have been Big Bang Attack. It's a better series. But anyway, it's nice to see somebody arrive in AEW or return to AEW, not botch
instantly,
yeah. Miro Beast Mode fucking chair strikes against them made me shout oof a lot of the TV. Obviously, the return of Trent and Sue was great, and them taking the three of them smacking him just made him look like a beast. The arcade machine throw did not look as rough as that stool Trent threw into Miro's face. I'm pretty sure that was just like a real bar stool. I just watched it go and I was like,
Miro.
Yeah, as much as I love this match, I do think Kip was massively underused. Like, he was there at the beginning, had a bit in the middle, and showed up at the end to go through a table. I still obviously love this. I'm not sure if it crossed the A barrier for me.
Oh, it did.
Out of the return of Toby C. Sue. I don't know. I don't think it was good as the parking lot brawl, but that's one of my favourite matches. And I think a lot of the hype I've got on this is for the return of the return of Trent. Yeah. Some great comedy spots, but the misuse of Kip. You could have just had 3-on-1 against Miro, basically. I mean, it's still really good, and it's still a high fucking D from me.
That's what no DQ match is, though. You just said that. Like, they just beat up him instantly, and then he was dead. You know? I don't know.
Oh, I'll pass it over to you, boys. I've obviously I am the best friend's mark normally, but I think I'm probably the lowest rank here.
What I really want from AEW now is a hardcore belt that is able to be defended singularly, Trio Z, or Tag Team Z.
Trio Z.
This is what I want for. It's what I want for the best friends. I just want them to have some hardcore belts that they can defend because
they just have a stupid match in a different location and do their best stuff. Yeah,
that's what they need for them. I love Statlander. I'm so glad to see she's back because I love big, powerful women in my matches.
On my screen.
On my screen. Give me a Tommy. Yeah, I have no issues with this match apart from Kip being underpowered. But I think Kip being underpowered is going to turn into, Miro just destroying him next week for being underpowered. So that's my theory on that. Yeah, it's great. I really enjoyed this. I haven't got anything bad really to say about it. I think Miro was statted perfectly here where it took like 3 people just wailing on him just to actually take him down for 5 minutes, Nothing to complain about here. I enjoyed it. It was high A for me.
So, normally, Mr. Strange, I would have to make you to install the best friends clause.
Rule.
I can't believe that I'm about to reverse the best ends clause and tell you to put your fucking score up. This match was awesome. This is how you do a completely different hardcore match to the hardcore match you did a couple of weeks ago. There was no blood. This was still a hardcore match. There was Lego instead of thumbtacks because it's the best friends and you've got to have a bit of silly. But
bollocks.
You beat the crap out of each other with arcade machines. Somebody threw an arcade machine at someone. Yes, it was an empty one and it was a fake, we know. But I can live in kayfabe. Miro can pick up an arcade machine as far as I'm concerned and throw it at somebody. And Trent throwing the bar stool. Well,
It went like a meteor.
Yeah.
I watched it go and I was like, I think that's a real stool. Oh God, it's hit him.
He's dead.
The amount of stuff, Statlander coming out of the machine, there was enough here. The pops were good, even though we'd spotted the Statlander. You see, we spotted the Statlander one because of the Alien was much more prevalent in their new entrance music, which means I do think that they're going to put Statlander in to that faction fully now.
They're stupid.
They are stupid because they work really well together. I mean, people have been shipping Orange Cassidy and Statlander for years. And if I've got to if I ever did have to read wrestling /fic, I think I'd rather read that than the one that the Raptor found.
What did you think of the match, Morg?
This was really, really good, and I was very close to giving it an S. It got an A/S from me. It was a high A from me. It was very close, but it just wasn't as good as the parking lot brawl, and therefore I knew I couldn't give it the S. If that makes sense.
They need some belts to defend.
But I'm totally with you. So yeah, reverse on our new belt for AEW. I'm totally with Muir on this. I think a hardcore belt that can be defended. You challenge the faction for the belt in one way or another, and you have to have an even match. But it's an ODQ match, so it doesn't matter. But you have to have an even match, so you can even have all the members of the Inner Circle versus all the members of the Pinnacle for the belt. I think that is an awesome idea for a belt. Or you can just challenge a single member, but only a single member of your team can challenge for it.
You can still cheat. It's a hardcore belt.
Well, I'd almost be without going into too much into the details. I'd almost be down on no. That's the rules. They have a hardcore match, but you're not allowed interference if you only challenge one member. So you can try and challenge the weakest member of the team. But yeah,
as long as the best friends get a belt and Sue gets to
wear it.
And
yes.
Thumbs up finish to Sue was wonderful.
Yes,
they keep the belt in the minivan and Sue's the protector of the belt.
But yeah, this was awesome and a great finish to what was a really good Dynamite and back on track, I think.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Strange.
Power of letter maths.
Power of letter maths.
My favourite.
Got a bunch of C's, a bunch of B's, and a couple of A's. So it's looked like it was a high B of a show, boys. We had a lot of good story. We had a lot of good wrestling. We had a couple of weak spots, don't get me wrong, but once again, mostly story leading us somewhere. And with Kaz and Cage opening, we're telling story in the ring, the conclusion of the best friend story at the end, the QT story in the middle. Yeah, really solid episode. High B. It's a good series. It's,
Nice to be back on track.
Yeah.
Yes. After a few
We had
weeks
those
of rolling
few
our
weeks
eyes.
of it like, ugh.
Yeah, we were worried. I was getting worried for a while.
Yes, mate.
So there you have it. That's our review of Dynamite and our review of AEW for the week. Ending on a high note. Definitely recommend you go and watch Dynamite this week. Tell us what you think. If you'd like to let us know what you think. We haven't had any questions in a while. If you'd like us to rant about something for you, haven't been angry about anything in ages. Maybe you want to give us some fantasy booking. You can do this at wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter. You might even want us to review a match for you. We're nearly at the end of it. This is the second to last one. And
Ultimate.
This week it was one of Mr. Muir's picks, and we went for it's a classic, as in it's an old school golden era match. WrestleMania 3, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat against the Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Championship. Over to you guys. Over to you, Mr. Strange, for your usual play-by-play and thoughts, and then we'll give our other thoughts on top.
Obviously, as I said last week, this is my favourite wrestler versus my granddad's favourite wrestler, so I was involved. We opened up this video with a nice recap to let me know what was going on. Even if the Doctor wasn't a promo man.
Oh, no.
And once again, it reiterates to me, bring back Kota Kane. We should probably skip over Ricky's Ryu Karate Man promo. It's solid, but it is very much a thing of the 80s. This half Japanese man from Hawaii. What if he was Ryu from Street Fighter?
Yes.
And spoke a bit like he was from a 1950s martial arts movie? Yeah, skip it.
Yeah.
I love the tiny rings they arrive in. Bring those back.
They're my favourite part. Apart from the commentary, they're so good. Those little rings.
Anyway, on to the match. We get a lovely paced technical start into a great hanging choke from Ricky. Like, he properly fucking holds him over. Randy does a clothesline by pulling the rope and letting it go into Ricky's face. That just wicked. There's a lot of good rope use in this match. Ricky does this throw up wrist lock slam thing on Macho. It's all back and forth and it's all paced really lovely, which is casual, realistic selling. And you don't have to like 80s wrestling. You don't have to be a Jim Cornette, but the 80s wrestlers knew strikes. Every strike looks good. We get the rope tie-up spot from Macho Man perfectly in there, doesn't lose an ear, which is wonderful. Yeah, exactly. The match has got very few holy shits, but it's also paced. It's not needed. Everything's just smooth and well done. We do have quite a bit from where it's all Macho for a bit and the kick outside, and he's going for the count win, which is actually interesting. It shows a level of tacticalness in wrestling. You don't often say, in fact, I don't think I've seen somebody going for a count out win since Farley versus Zack Sabre in Wrestle Kingdom a couple of years back. And it's really nice to see, we get some more of Macho Man's cool clotheslines with the top rope there. Great. The weird jumping karate. But if I have a criticism of the actual wrestling in this, Ricky Steamboat's weird jumping karate chop to the top of the head looks a bit lame. But you've got to let these things go. Yeah, thank you.
It's 80s. It's 87, mate.
And we're getting towards the last 5 minutes of this, and you can really feel the weight of this match. They're both invested. The strikes are still going. There's panic. Macho Man swings for the ref accidentally whilst he's stumbling about, and it looks good. I did laugh at the point where people go on about how modern day wrestling has too many fake finishes. This match has about a dozen kickouts at 2 near the end, and it's not bad. That's not a criticism. Things can be done well. Hebner gets hit and does the best ref bump sell I've seen in some years. He fucking goes down, and it's wicked. We have the bell spot once again, which is sold by commentary, explaining how this has come through again, how Macho Man is, losing his shit because he can't win. Arguably, I would probably criticize in modern day if somebody won with an out-of-nowhere small package after shenanigans. But you've got to take into account back then, wrestling was viewed as being more real. So a small package is...
real, pin.
It's a technique, yeah.
Yeah.
This match is very much a product of its time, and if you're not somebody who enjoys that, it could be a problem. Is it a high-paced spot fest? No. Is it skilled, paced, and just fucking beloved by that crowd? Yes. It's an iconic moment. Sure, if I could probably compare it to the Kaz Christian Cage match in skill, technique. Obviously, it's more drawn out. It's got more story. But with that moment and what it's going through and how they explain it and the ringside stuff, it's just great. And I could see how it would easily be an S of the golden era of the time, if just a high B/A for me on watching it objectively, shall we say.
These days, maybe a bit higher, but yeah. My things, I really like them explaining the champion's advantage at the start of this match to set up him Macho trying to just, win by count out. I thought that was quite good. I really enjoyed Monsoon and Jesse the Body on commentary. I think that really helped. I love Jesse Ventura. I could have him commentating now, and that would make me happy. I just love how contrarian he is, and how much he's just like, oh, the ref's against the heel, all this shit. I think that's a perfect building for a character. I think it really sets up, oh, these are baddies sort of thing, and I think it's great.
I don't think there were any goodies in this story from having watched the conclusion. Ricky Steamboat stole his wife.
Yeah, I'm just saying, well, George the Animal Steel stole his wife, but okay. No, this is great. I really enjoyed it. I think that it's, for its time, it's fantastic. For nowadays, it still holds up. I love Ricky's fucking arm drags are fantastic. The only bad things are the quality of it, obviously, because it's like a JPEG watching it now. It was Match of the Year by every book for 1987, so that's 33 years ago, nearly 34 years ago. So, fair play to this. It's great.
I think it's still one of the highest rated matches. So this was interesting for me because I realised when in the shower before I was about to watch this that I have not watched this match since I first got properly into wrestling. I'm not going to say back into wrestling, although I kind of watched bits when I was younger. When I got back into wrestling at the sort of beginning of the Attitude Era with the guys I was working with, we went and watched a lot of older stuff, and that was probably the last time I'd watched this match, and it was all right when I watched it. It wasn't the stuff that was happening in the Attitude Era that was pulling me in.
No.
I watch this match now with my eyes now of what I enjoy, and I think this match still stands up now. This was a technical dreamfest, and I know you said it wasn't full of high spots, but in a way I think it was.
I don't mean that in a judgment way.
Yeah, it didn't have the sort of flippy shit that we are used to. This is the genesis of every flippy shit match that you watch now when they're really good. This was just solid all the way through. I wasn't bored at any moment. It was technically amazing. There was lots of bits. Yes, you didn't have a top rope corkscrew.
Whatever, yeah.
Didn't even
10,080
suplexes in the match.
Yeah, 10,080 degrees. The ending was a little bit the only bit that I had any criticism of, really. That was just a little bit what, and this happens and that happens, and it's a small package roll up. But I think Ricky Dragon was one of those people that didn't have a big finisher. I think he was just one of those technical wrestlers who beat you with a wrestling hold. I think that was kind of his gimmick. I really enjoyed this match, and I would say I personally think it still stands up, and I'd probably still give it an A today, just on the sheer technical.
Oh, it's definitely on that boundary for me. As I said, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
I know really I may have sounded cynical, but it was great.
Yeah, you've got to review it, critique it. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Thank you, Muir, for choosing this one. It's my turn to be able to say thank you for a choice. This was really good, and it was really nice to watch. So there you have it. there's our show for the week. We have one more of our favourite matches to review next week. And next week's review will be from Money in the Bank. It will be CM Punk versus John Cena.
Phil versus Big Match John.
Phil versus Big Match John. This will be an interesting one to review. I'm telling you now, as far as I'm concerned, it's an S.
I think I'm worried we're going to get the reverse of us trying to show you Japanese things. And you being like, yeah, it's right. I just really, I wasn't into it at the time. And I'm going to be like, yeah.
Don't worry, I'm sending you
I'm sure it's
you're getting all the promos that go with it. Because that's what makes this match so important to me. Anyway, we will discuss that next week. I would like to thank Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. If you want to find us, we are Wrestleopinionated on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor.fm. Over to you, Mr. Muir.
Thanks again for listening. It's always a pleasure to do this. So if you'd like to send anything in to us, please send it into wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOp on Facebook, or WrestleOp1 on Twitter. Over to you, Strange.
Cheers for listening again. Does mean a lot to us. Please do send in some questions, theories, things you want us to talk about. It makes our life a lot easier, as we don't have to think about it between having to watch like 18 hours of fucking dark matches. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that little bell syndrome, pass this on to your mates, send it to them in emails, make them listening to us. Where else can you hear three people from a varied part of the Midlands talk about wrestling? Nowhere, that's where we're. Anyway, cheers again. Back to you, Morg.
So, all that's left to be said, goodbye and good night.